You've got your location.
Yeah, relocation. You have to look it down.
You're not down.
I know, I've seen that picture he stuck on today. I know, like 2 years ago. And he was
Yeah,
like,
I thought it was.
are you
Wasn't that
like
last
2
year?
years
Your
ago?
last tour in Oxford.
Yeah, that's 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah, man.
With you?
2 years ago, yeah. 2 years ago.
That was
Yeah.
what was
We
it?
both
Fit fuel or something, wasn't it?
Man.
we both shut up, like.
Yeah.
We both grown.
Yeah,
Oh, you just stand
I
on
know,
the fucking step.
I used to tell them me.
Speed of light, I'm breaking down like this ain't nothing new. She wanna kick it, don't skip it, let's say we rendezvous. Usually I don't trick up, pick up like 1 or 2. Them daisies known to be deadly, especially if I love you. I've grown impatient, I'm tired of waiting just for you. If we gon' trip, then we taking trips out to Malibu. My alley-oops, we returning troops from a blowing nuke. A bomb crash and I'm slow asking to tell the truth.
What I do in my seminars, I pretty much tell my story, and then if anybody's got any questions at any point in time, please ask them. I always encourage people, there's no such thing as a silly question, it's something I ask myself. It never gets old. Even if I have answered it 100 times, it's a passion for me. I'm still a fan. I'm a massive fan. And that's one of the reasons why I love doing what I do, and why it's prideful for me to be a champion, talking and being in the situation I'm in. So, without further ado, I think I'll start from the beginning, and there's probably going to be people filing in, so please make them feel very awkward that they're late. Oh, come on, guys! I'm joking. Come on in. Come on in. So I'll start off from the beginning, from my nickname. And like I said, fire any questions up at any time, and if not, nothing happens. We have to ask questions at the end, whatever it is. So for me, getting into the sport, people think the name Flex came from bodybuilding. I never did. 6 years old, I was playing rugby. There was another guy in the team called James. So we had to they felt the need to find a nickname for me. And I was a little speedster, played in the wing. I was very elusive, flexible, getting out of predicaments, tackles. So the nickname Flexi, which then got abbreviated to Flex, came about. 6 years old, and pretty much from that age it stuck. All the way through school, all the way up until current day. So a lot of people think it was something to do with bodybuilding, nothing to do with bodybuilding. So I feel like, now looking back and all the small little times, I was destined to be a bodybuilder. My mother says I was doing it. But so fast forward on from that, so having this name Flex, I don't know why, but in the sports I was in, from gymnastics, rugby, athletics, I started building up a pretty decent physique for a young kid, especially my calves, and they started growing to the point where I had to have like extra elasticated socks at a very young age. I just remember no cotton socks, everything was elasticated. For all you girls who have big thighs and big butts, you know what I'm talking about. It's trying to get something over your legs at a very young age as a strain. So I knew back then that my muscles developed very fast. And this is really nothing to do with any weight training. It was from strenuous rugby, drills and landing in gymnastics, springing off things. And I was doing all the crazy kid stuff too. Inline skating, so my legs started cutting up young. But it was not until 12 years old that I found a book on Tom Plants. And that was the book that really changed my life. If I hadn't found that book, I probably would have had an interest in weight training. As I just remember, all these stories back then, and periodically I'm putting things together. This was the climax of me going, wow, what the hell, and who is this guy? For people in this room, the younger guys, who don't know who Tom Platz is, he was known for his leg development. Probably one of the best set of legs ever. My auntie went to one of the seminars in London. She was a nurse, no interest in bodybuilding, didn't even train. I think might have had a crush on him, I don't freaking know, but she went to a seminar, bought this book, Tom signed the book. She came back to Wales, put this book into her little cupboard or whatever it was in the house, and me being the 12-year-old nosy little kid going through everything in the house and pulling shit out, I found this book and took it home, up the jumper. I'm Welsh, it happens. I'm watching you on my wallet, as the other guys. Watch your wallet from me too. But I took it home, and that was my go-to every day. It was like, wow, look at this book, like, look at this guy. I wasn't interested in arms or chest or anything like that. I was interested in getting my legs as big as physically possible. So I remember just doing all these small little things, like running up hills, and I seen Tom Platz running on the beach. That never grew my legs, believe me. But then, until I found these weights, I knew that what Tom Platz was training on, I needed to find and locate. And they were, I found these weights. Never had any uncle or anything like that, or father was into weights, hidden in the shed. My dad must have had them, put them to bait in this shed at the top of the garden, and I found them there, again being the noisy little kid I was. And I said, oh shit, they look like the things that are in the book. Brought them out, true to this day, brought them out, rolled them down the steps, and my garden was on the top of a hill. Put them all the way through the house, my mother and father going out there or something. And then one by one, put them up the stairs into my room under the bed. So every time my weight, if my mother and father go, I brought the weights out, put them up. Actually, it started with me trying to get them off the floor. And as far as I could do was like that step. And obviously rolling them under the bed, trying to get them up onto the bed was a chore in itself. But I knew that trying to get big legs, I had to put this thing on my back. And as time went on, and as I was deadlifting every single day with these things, I managed to get on my back. I remember just scooting against the bed, getting on my back, and then 1 rep to the 2 reps, 2 reps to the 3 reps over a course of time. I started getting stronger, my legs started getting stronger, and I started really enjoying what I thought was my first ever leg sessions in my bedroom, which was a bit of a distraction from my mother and father downstairs. They came in looking for probably something else, being a teenager, puffing and puffing in the room. I think his dad came in with his eyes closed, like, and then he sees me on weights. So I think it was a relief, but I still had the weights taken off me. I'm going to stunt my growth, which is not really, you know, having parents who are under 5'5" anyway, it's not going to happen. So it wasn't until a couple of years later that obviously my rugby had been a big part of my life. It really took off for me, and weights were really encouraged in college, school. So I had to do a training program. Unfortunately for me, obviously the school was the only gym that allowed us to train weights unless a gym joined another gym. So I ended up going to the gym in town where everybody goes to. All the doormen would go there, and it was just, you know, well, all the big boys hung out. And me being the young kid, no big brother, you know, it was walking into that place was pretty intimidating. But I soon found that this was my home from home. I walked in there, these guys took me under their wing, I started powerlifting. They became, you know, brothers to me, and they threw me into the mix of powerlifting competitions. So that's how I started doing things competitively, along with playing high level rugby. And I exceeded through the whole rugby stage. The path that's paved for rugby. I still was running track. I run for my country on the wing. I run for my country, play rugby on the wing. But I still, you know, when you do something and it's like it's not in your heart. You're doing it and you're excelling at it, but it's just like, when I was playing with the boys, I was having a great time. But when I came off the field and, you know, it just wasn't in my heart, and training for that, I knew there was something more. Every time I went to the gym, I loved it. And I was like, how can I make money or have life with this feeling more? I didn't know about bodybuilding at that level or powerlifting at that level. All I knew that was powerlifting shows, the ones that I competed in, were not high level, where you're deadlifting and they're selling fish and chips behind you, you know? And that's a true story. I got footage of me deadlifting and the smoke is covering me. It looks just like a visual effect. So it was burning back there. But again, the gym was the place that I loved to go to, and come on in, guys. And powerlifting, like I said, was the first introduction to the real gym. And over that time, of course, my interest in bodybuilding was growing and growing and growing. I didn't want to be on stage. I never had aspirations to, but I started attending bodybuilding shows, started buying all Flex magazines, seeing this guy on front covers, flicking through. Needless to say, I didn't think I'd be doing a seminar with him years later, but that passion started turning unbeknownst to me, you know, it started breathing inside me until the opportunity of me, I would say it wasn't the opportunity, I was told that you should do a show for a free gym membership. Was presented to me, and being in college, not having much money, I thought myself, shit, I'm not gonna turn this down. That's a great burrito. So I had the opportunity to compete, or should I say pressured into it for a free gym membership. And I was like, you know what, I'll do it, how hard can it be? And to this day, I'll tell everybody, the first ever show was the hardest show and diet I ever had. Because nobody helped me, I was a stubborn little kid. Again, the guys in the gym are all powerlifters. So they would say, oh, eat this, eat that, and there was not really anybody that grabbed me and said, you need to do this structured diet or follow this plan. So I bought a Flex magazine, and Gunther Schurkamp, he had his diet in there. It's 8 meals a day of chicken, rice, steak, eating at the firehouse. And I was like, holy shit, this is expensive. And I ended up really dissecting this whole diet apart. I took out all the carbohydrates, I changed it, chicken meals to tuna, I changed steak meals to eggs, and I dieted on what would be the bodybuilder's budget diet with no carbohydrates. I was living hell. I don't even know how I didn't get kicked out of the house, but I wanted this gym membership so bad, free gym membership. I should have just paid it, right? For the money I spent on food. Tins of tuna, smelling the house up. But I will say my mother and father are great, they supported everything I've ever done, even though they had no clue what this bodybuilding was about. They supported me, and it was just a blessing to have them, and I was living hell, I know I was. Fast forward to the show, or close to the show should I say, the guys in the gym then started putting this, I was in college too, putting this bag together of, we can't wait for Flex to start eating again, because I was always the Jack the lad with the boys and joking. I was just coming to college, drained, put this huge bag of chocolates together, all my favourite Snickers bars and double deckers, started mounding up. It was just like, fuck you, bad, that's what it was called, because they hated the person I was becoming when I was dieting. Just not myself, because I used to be on the rugby field. So they knew that the times was counting down to the first show, and the bag was getting bigger, and I was excited about eating this big bag of chocolates myself and getting this free gym membership. The day the show happened, I met, day of the show, which was Mr. Wales, Junior Mr. Wales. The last week of that show, I got told that you need a carb up. I was like, what the hell's carbing up? Like, just eat a load of potatoes and rice. So that's what I done. I went and got potatoes and rice, and somebody told me to drink this. I just done it, and then I'm really blind. It was crazy, and how my body reacted. Again, I was on depletion carbs for like 10 weeks. After the show, he chased me outside pretty much and said, hey, listen, you've won the Welsh, now you've got to represent at the British. I was like, oh yeah, mate, no problem, no. And he was like, no, you need to. And I was like, for all of you know, whoever knows me, and he can be very convincing. He's, again, my coach to this day, but he's very convincing, and he said, listen, you need to do the British, you need to represent Wales. Oh my gosh, he was in the whole like nation against me now. I ended up doing it, and he said to me, and also helped me with the diet. So, knowing that, and having the feeling that somebody's actually going to do it, and help me all the way through, and obviously Neil was a massive, known pro in Wales to all us guys. I said, wow, this is a lucky opportunity, and I'll definitely take it, but then it's done. I was allowed to eat half a bag of chocolates, which I put on like 14 pounds, which was stone within 2 days. And then come Monday was meeting up with Neil. So in that period of time, of course, having very little carbs to nothing going into the show, and then having a massive carb up, plus half a bag of chocolates, I'm telling you, like a big bag too. I was freaking just this huge Jack Ginger bodybuilder that went team bodybuilder, went to see Neil. And he welcomed me into his house, put me under his lights that he's in his old house. He had these unforgiving lights, wrote out a diet plan for me, and then pretty much we were on the road to the British. Fast forward, And I think we were just talking about that to your brother downstairs. That's where I seen you, met your brother at the British for the first time, I think. I competed in that show, and that's when I won my first British title at 19, junior title. And I was at a crossroads, like, okay, what do I do next? Because now I started enjoying it. I had 2 wins. Where do I go from here? I had another year left in juniors. It was under 21 at the time. And then pictures from that show ended up going onto the internet, which was relatively new at that point in time. And yes, the internet was just invented when I was a teenager. Freaking sound old as hell now, man. And these images ended up in the hands of Ed Connors, who was the original the owner of Gold's Gym franchise, him and his 4 partners. So I had this email out to the blue saying, we want to take you to America, I'm going to bring you over and you can stay in my house. What I read was, I'm going to bring you to America and I'll lock you in a closet, I'm going to bring you over for fun times. And that's what I thought was going to happen. I was like, okay. And then you'll see me, I'll be that guy on a milk carton in America somewhere, missing since 19 something, and you know, you'll find me then 10 years later, they're all gone and I'm limping because of all the abuse I've had. But needless to say, that never happened. Needless to say, it did happen. I ended up finding out more about this guy, and he was legit. He's helped out so many people from bodybuilders to wrestling, and yeah, he's just a fan of the sport. So I ended up going to America. The first day I was there, my perception of the States was Baywatch, was cops, and a couple other things that were mixed in my head, you know. So I thought, on Jaws. So I thought I was either going to be shot by a bikini girl or eaten by a shark in the sea. So, and this guy lived on the beach, like literally on the beach. So I woke up in the morning, first thing I see, I swear to God, first thing I see on the first day I'm there is this thing going up and down in the ocean, and there's a guy walking into the ocean, and this idiot shouting on the balcony of this guy's house, "Hey, shark!" Like, first day I met him, I'm like, what the hell? Ended up being a dolphin, and I woke up all the house guests. So my introduction was me shouting shark, and all these guys getting out of the bedrooms and coming and meeting me there, and what a great introduction. This house was full of wrestlers, which went on to do big things in WWE. Some I can't remember, but there was Chris Masters, which ended up being the masterpiece. There was the guy from Muscle Tech back in the day, Jeremy Freeman. He was trying to break into WWE. Who else is there? There was a guy who had a big reality TV show, who was also trying to break into the WWE at the time. It was what the hell? It'll come to me now. But yeah, he had one of the original Bachelors. He was like one of the first guys, but it was called Joe Millionaire. And he pretended to be like a millionaire, and these girls would fall in love with him. And in the end he says, I'm broke, I used to be a bum, I don't have $1 million. And then in his case, she broke up with him because he was a bum and he didn't have no money. But he was living there too, and he was trying to get into WWE. There's a few guys. It's like a big house, a multi-million-dollar house on the beach. This guy owned. He'd done very well with selling the gym franchises, and he was just there. He was just giving back. So they give me my room there. 2 weeks prior to me living there, one of the guys at Gold's Gym on the front desk was living in there also, and he was a bodybuilder, and he had just gone into a reality TV show there too, which is called Tough Enough, and everybody knows that guy now as John Cena. So that house was just the who's who have been there, and who this guy has helped out, from the Sting to Ultimate Warrior to all these other wrestlers from old all the way up to recent.